knitting by myself, and most recently I do enjoy knitting with friends. I don't mean to sound like I don't enjoy knitting with people. I do enjoy knitting with people, but I am a homebody, very, very much a homebody. Love, love, love being at home. And I 6 months ago, took a job at our local outdoor living museum called the Log Cabin Village, where I'm able to do just this. I'm able to spin and knit, and um, I've recently started weaving, and so I get to talk to people about the love of the fiber arts actually quite frequently, and that is super fun. I love it so much. 20 years ago, when my husband and I, almost 20 years ago, moved to Fort Worth, I told him if I ever worked outside the home again, that's where I would want to work. I've been a homemaker for almost 25 years, and so it's kind of a little dream come true. I've volunteered there off and on for about seven or 8 years, through different seasons, sometimes not very much at all, maybe just a couple of times a year. But then in October, actually, I took a part-time position there, and it is lovely. So if you're ever in the area, come see me at the Log Cabin Village. It's a collection of cabins that were brought to the Log Cabin Village in the 60s, and they're all generally from the Weatherford, Parker County area. And so we do demonstrations of various things. There's a woodworking cabin and a blacksmith shop, one of only 3 working grist mills in Texas. We have a beautiful herb garden that is just incredible. The Fort Worth Herb Society cares for it, and they are so wonderful and generous and passionate about their herbs. It's a beautiful place to walk through. We have candle dipping, so I'm at the candle pot a lot with either my spinning wheel or my knitting or my weaving in between dipping candles with people. And then we have a cabin that the primary thing that we discuss there are the fiber arts. And so mostly spinning and weaving. And that's the Pickard cabin. We also have a cabin that, sorry, I just drew a blank. We have an old schoolhouse, and it was one time a church, so that's pretty fun. And what else do we have? We have a little tiny smokehouse. We have a little herb shed for the drying of the herbs. And we have a lovely gift shop where, in fact, many of our very talented, my coworkers, make things to sell in the gift shop. So I like to recommend that for people who know someone who has a birthday or at Christmas. If you're looking for handmade and unusual little gifts, they have a lovely gift shop. So anyway, I have a lot of things that I want to explore on the podcast, and I can tell I'm going to have fun if I can just continue to get past the initial sitting down and doing it. Again, hopefully in the future some things will change, microphones, cameras, things like that, but I figured I needed to just start where I am and go. Again, that's been the best thing so far in the things that I've explored and become passionate about and really enjoyed the most is just start. Not wait for the perfect time or the perfect equipment or the perfect mood or the perfect hair day. It's very humid here. So anyway, what I'm doing right now is spinning some fiber optics, And I got this last year at the Fiber Festival, and I think I will probably be spending in most podcasts where I'm not interviewing someone. Right now it's sort of a security blanket. And if you, well, obviously you knit or spin, or you probably wouldn't be watching this, but you know what I mean. I am an introvert that probably, I would say, people who know me but not well probably think I'm an extrovert, but my closest friends know that I'm an introvert. A little obsessed with the whole Myers-Briggs. I don't know if y'all are familiar with that, but if you're on Pinterest, you can look up Myers-Briggs and do a little personality quiz and find out your personality. INFJ/P on occasion. Probably more P than J, but then other times I go back and forth. So anyway, that's my personality. I look forward to hearing what your personality is. Leave a comment. It'll be fascinating to see who is what and why you think you are that. So some of the people that I would like to speak with in the future, and actually have come my way in the last couple of weeks, I met a therapist who also is an artist, and she lives in Oklahoma. And so we talked about her being interviewed. I'm just really interested in how the arts affect our mental health and the benefits that we get from exploring with making things, attempting new things, enjoying the things that we've always done, that we love so much, how we share the things that we make, whether it's through teaching or giving gifts or selling. Selling is one of those things I've never been comfortable with, and that has actually come up recently for me, in a way that someone has asked me to put some of my objects in their shop. And so I'm exploring that. Brings up a lot of fear right off the bat. Perfectionism, that whole perfectionism. I'm not going to lie and say that I don't have those feelings, but I am grateful that they don't stop me anymore. Whereas used to, they would stop me, or I would lay in bed late into the night worrying about something that I made as a gift for someone, y'all. Seriously, like, I made it with my heart, and I would lay there and obsess about stitches. And so anyway, I still have the thoughts, but not to that degree. So again, my name is Michelle Holler. I live in Texas. Oh, let me describe my name real quick before I say goodbye, because I think this is probably a long enough beginning. My name is a hopeful holler makes. My last name, my married last name, is Holler, Hollar, which happens to be a Blue October song, by the way, although it's Holler. Just a side note. And holler, aside from the outside holler, which I'm sure my husband's people are from North Carolina, it's probably the outside holler, but I always think of holler like a very unpleasant noise that a person would make when they're hurting. And so anyway, I do work on being hopeful. I'm not always hopeful. I am oftentimes very emotional. So I feel like all of these arts that I do, as well as my faith, keep me grounded and not so much in my head. And so this is why, to me, it's kind of hard to talk about, because I find so much help from these things, but it never ends, which sounds depressing, but it's not, because it's and I don't want to sound, what is the word? Idealistic. I do have some idealistic tendencies, but as you get to know me, you'll learn of some of my experiences, and you'll know I know that there is pain, and there is sadness, and there is darkness, and all of those hard places. And at the same time, for me, with faith and with grounding and with action, I'm brought back to center to go again, whatever that climb is. So anyway, these are some of the, like I said on my Instagram a few months ago, these are some of the meatier topics that I do want to talk about. I don't want to talk about them just by myself. I'd like to talk to you about them. I'd like to interview other people and just learn more, to have that conversation, to better understand the arts and my place in this conversation, and just be able to have that conversation, because it's kind of hard to sit down sometimes just with people and go, so you want to talk about some meaty topics? I mean, I do it anyway, but sometimes it's kind of hard. And this is my podcast, and I can choose to do that. And hopefully you'll choose to join in with me, or choose to leave. Either one. I respect that too. But again, I appreciate the opportunity, and I look forward to getting to know y'all. Welcome to the Hopeful Holler Teary-Eyed podcast. I'll just say goodbye. Have a great day. Bye-bye.